the newest copy of Mosaic and Glass magazine, issue number 9. It's a banger of an issue. It's just chock full of ruins artists. I have to say, if I don't say so myself. Um, the curator, Rona Duffy, the editor of this magazine, just really knows what she's doing. And let's see if I can find this particular article. Well, there's the boot. There's Maribel's boot. Letter from Sama, the president. Anyway, there's Laurie Fraser. This was the best of show, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous quilt-ish piece from 2024. And I just highly recommend, if you haven't gotten this already. I do have an article in here that I wrote myself, The Uncommon Canvas. Tammy McCalla has a beautiful article in here. Diane Sonnenberg has a tutorial. There's several tutorials that are really well worth the investment of either one issue or subscription to the whole thing. So, and let's see. I actually might just pan over here a little bit. And this may not look like much to you all, but I'm very excited about this little section right behind the bench. You can see maidenhair fern. There's a pawpaw. There's a couple baby pawpaws back here. There's some sweet woodruff. There's blue flag iris. There is red twig dogwood. Some more iris down there. Here's the bridge. And this just makes me so happy that I'm creating a little bit of order right around the front door. And then that's where the bigger part of the garden is down there. Lots of work represented down there too. But I'm going to come over here and, oh, you're welcome, Rona. I'm glad you signed on quickly. Don't look at my unpedicured toes, please. Keep those out. Shelley Cocos, who is a longtime friend of the ruins, her box of rings was the most recent to show up, and I just had to show you. She's very good at packaging her rings. She puts them in very special boxes. Look at these; they're just beautiful. And also, something to know about these well packaged rings is that she took the leap. Shelley took the leap these last few months. And these are her first examples of pulling Filati herself. So she didn't try the purchase route by doing her rings. She literally pulled all of this herself with the help of her partner, Steve, who was holding the torch. Men are very good for holding the torches. But anyway, good job, Shelley. And we can't wait to install these. And also these little babies here, Patrice Lahaki. These are my other most recent arrivals. The arrivals have definitely slowed down. So I think we're probably just about finished. There may be a few stragglers coming in. These right here are just a random little bit that I pulled out of the box just to show you. I love this one. It looks like a circus. And then the box, of course, the magic box. And this is holding everything that has not been installed yet. And there are layers to this. So there's layers and layers. I'm not going to unload them all because we have other things to talk about. But I just wanted you to, see the rings. And now I'm going to take you to the front door. Here we go. And I'm going to show you something that no one else has seen yet. It's very important to me. I think I can turn the phone this way. Is that all right for everybody to do a landscape view? Did that work for everyone? I have a hard time reading the comments. I hope you're all still there. Okay. Well, anyway, a lot of you have already seen this map of the Great Allegheny Passage. It's a very important part of the ruins. And this wall, it is a map, but it's also a composition. Look at the beautiful dappled sunlight today. Just beautiful. Somebody else leave a comment because I'm not seeing any comments. I just want to make sure you're all still there. Yes. Okay, good. I just want you to look at this. I'm going to back all the way up. And I'll just try to shut up for a minute. I want you to look at this whole full wall. as a composition. And you may see something new here. If you have been looking for several years, you may see a new addition on the far right, right underneath the bird. That is the legend of the ruins. Long time coming. The theme for today's conversation is the long game. And, you know, if you're reading the Substack, you're hearing me talk about, what 10 years has brought here. And oh, look at that moss right up on the top there. Hold on, I'm getting distracted, but the light here is just so pretty right now. There's moss and lichen together. Oh, so beautiful. But the long game is my way of talking about making plans here, but also in real life, also in, artistic practice in general for you. So the long game is very much about you too. And that's what I want to talk about, because somehow in the 10th year, my brain has, um, I don't know if it's something has been cemented, and I just see the circles closing, and I see themes and philosophies and archetypes. I'll use all those kind of jumbled together, repeating themselves. They just keep repeating and repeating. And so I'm going to bring you up to, now I'm going to go this way again. Okay. So you can see the legend, because all maps need to have a legend, AKA a key, right? And the beautiful bird by China Jack Mosaics, AKA Emily Lawler. Yeah, that's her name. So there's symbols. I'm just going to go down real quickly, and you may recognize some just by me going quickly. But I want to write about this and put it into a Substack, but I decided to make it just for you all, because there's probably like 20 or 30 of us together here right now. And so this is like my soft opening for the legend. This is like a mini tour of the whole ruins. So my next step, because we put all the icons in, is to make little clay markers that explain what they are. So when you have a legend, you have an image, you have an icon, and then you have some words to describe it. And usually they're like rivers or lakes or cities or towns, things like that. But for the ruins, we have the symbols of ideas that we keep talking about over and over again. And this part, I actually cannot read any of your comments because of the glare. So I'm just going to have to, I'm just going to have to go with it. So this is kind of the secret that I'm unveiling today, the "You Are Here" symbol. So I'm giving a speech in October to the BAM organization, to the BAM membership, and it's all the way over in England, but I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be here. So it's a virtual speech, and thank you very much to BAM for letting me not go. But the "You Are Here" is such a symbolic phrase for me and for everybody. I mean, we've all seen it, all over and all the maps. "You Are Here" is just a universal symbol for a lot of map cartography. But I see a bigger project in the message, and it's something that's always true. You are here. So you can say it to yourself right now, and it's true. And I can say it to myself. I'm here at the ruins. You are where you are right now. And it can be a meditative message. Like you want to get yourself placed in this place so you can be present, right? But it's also very physically true. And I'm just gonna sit down. And so what I love about it always being true is that in this world that we're living in, it's very, very difficult to find something that is true, right? Here, I'm gonna we're inundated with information overload. We have more information than we can possibly deal with. And it doesn't matter where you are, how you feel about something, it's very difficult to know what's true. And so I feel like this phrase, this "you are here," has a lot of power in it right now for us to place ourselves in some simple, very simple thing that, yes, I am here. And that's kind of what the talk is going to be about. But it's also going to be about the ruins, and it's going to be about a future project that I think is very much a long game. And the ruins, I talk a lot about that as opposed to short games. Which what would a short game be? Just making one project, one mosaic project that is kind of um, not open ended, but once it's finished, it's finished. And what I love about these symbols is that they all seem to be working together. So let's see. Go back up again. So the "you are here," always true. This is our very abstract clock, um, like a mini clock of Deb Engelbaugh's abstract clock of the ruins, which many of you have seen. It's been there for one of the first installations we ever had. And you might recognize that, what we were just looking at, a little moss ring. So that's the Moss Project. This is Diane Bigelow. And I'm going to see how close I can get to this because I want you all to see that she used copper wire. So, right, that little piece right there is a piece of copper wire with green plastic around it. So she turned copper wire into Malmöschado. Just brilliant. Loved it. And a little bit of purple that goes with it. And here we have Wendy Casperson's baby arrow. She built this herself last week. Thank you, Wendy. And the words that describe this are going to be before the coal. So time, we talk when we're getting ruins tours, we talk about the primordial kind of time, the hundreds of millions of years that it took the coal to be created, and then the very short period of time it took men to identify it, dig it, burn it, and turn it into the modern world. Those two pieces of time are very unbalanced. This represents all that time before the coal, whether it's with the people or the animals or the earth itself. This symbol here is for the hot metal wall, which is right behind me. All the wonderful gears. This is the Ruin-Sven, and it represents the artists and the coal miners, and the little bit of gold in between is what they have in common, which represents the Ruins Project. And that is actually on the very opposite of this wall. The big Ruin-Sven is right opposite of this. This one is the Compass Rose, which is actually right here. There's the Compass Rose, so a little mini one. And we used an arrowhead from my father's collection. Actually, this one too is from my father's collection that he bought back in the 1980s. So I thought that was a very good use of those. This little fragment made of clay and Malmöschado is actually the Fragment Project, which has not been announced or created, but I know it's coming. Again, long game. So keep an eye out for 2026 for the Fragment Project. And some of you will recognize this as the Beehive, the wonderful color study we all did last year. The Red Dog Daisy by Erica Johnson, the Mosaic Mudlark. And what the words I'll probably put here will be stories in stone. I just made this cute little simplistic canary to represent the Feather Project for all the birds. Maribel Sanchez was here last week, and she made a tiny house to represent the Patch House Project, which is the quilts. And then we have this unique square, a circle inside of a square, which I'm going to pan out now and just look all the way on that far wall. And you can see the portal, which is the square and the circle together. And so that's another project that's in the works now. And the portal is, symbolic of the coal mine entrance itself. And we have several pieces in progress that are going to be portals. And then we have a tiny little boot. Maribel made us a baby boot that will be representative of the chapel and also the phrase "another man's boots." There's a few more to add. I'm going to get out of the sun and so I can see if anybody's talking to me. Lovely piece. Maribel. Yeah. Um, oh, it's hot. Oh, that's better. Whew. Have I missed a whole bunch of questions that I didn't know about? Um, you can ask again if you want. This is much better. I didn't know the light was going to be like that over at the legend. I think that's a cool phrase, though, huh? The legend of the ruins. We'll play on words there for sure. Sometimes I have to just be quiet when I'm over here because I tend to talk too much. I'm listening to the water drip on the red dog on the drip line. That's one of the places where we have the most red dog collecting because the water line drips and it just like rain we have a heavy rain, that's when the red dog comes out and it's nice and clean. Mm. So there's probably a few more symbols that will go on the legend. I think we're going to do the logo of the Great Chain. Steve-O's going to make that for us, and possibly one for the outliers, which are the things that are, um, developing outside in the landscape, like the squirrel of possibility with the blue ice and the giant nest, which Eric is still working on. I can actually probably show you that too. So, oh, some of you may have seen this in progress, but this is Erica's nest, which is big enough for a person, and it actually has a door built into it. It's very much under construction still, so there's a lot of actual vines. Like most of it's copper now, but there will be a lot of vines that will be weaved in and throughout, real vines like grapevine and Virginia creeper, probably. Uh, but it just like a bird building a nest. It's at its messy stage right now. So I don't know what we're going to put in this nest. Whether it's some eggs. We have a couple eggs from artists already. Um, I mentioned that we might want to make one big giant egg just for fun. Um, the nest is coming along. Yeah, Shelley, you were here for the beginning of the nest. It turned out to be a little harder than we expected to build it. I think she's finally gotten to the fun part with the natural vines, which is where she thrives. Yeah. So, I really had in my head that I wanted to talk about um, the idea of the long game, um, not just for the ruins, but uh, for you who are, investing your time and your dollars into the ruins Substack. This is for paid subscribers, and um, I think you guys know how much you mean to me, and that you're making my writing make sense as a way to make a partial kind of a living, and how important that is to me, and so in some ways you're playing a long game with me that way, because you invest in the ruins future by being a paid subscriber. But I was thinking about some of the courses that I teach at Mosaic Arts Online, and how some of them are much longer game subjects and immersive experiences than others. Like um, the Spiral, the Shell, and the Sprocket as a beginner course with the little frames and the quilt blocking and Picassiette. Those are short game courses, and they're wonderful. I loved them. I love teaching them. But the long gamers, the intuitive andamento and the intuitive malmescado, the long game courses are the ones that have intuitive before their subject. Let's see what this is. Intuitive composition is another one. Intuitive mosaic jewelry is another one, because they're teaching you um, long game techniques. So you don't just make one project with that course. You are learning to um, think strategically about how you want to make mosaic, or make any kind of art, really, sometimes. That intuitive composition course could be for any kind of art. But I am watching, so this is something that's happening for me because I'm being so retrospective in this 10th year. I'm watching, the artists around me just explode with success, and, um and making their own stories, like in the Mosaic and Glass magazine, that's just an example. There's so many of us who are doing really, really good things, and it's because we're playing the long game. We're not just fly by night coming in to try something. And I'm gonna need to have my glasses on. Another example of somebody that I'm well. What I think one of the coolest things about teaching anything is watching the people who you're teaching actually make it start to work for themselves. So, like Barb Cortese, I don't know if she signed on it yet or not, but she took the jewelry course, and she has made so much jewelry in the last couple of months. I mean, she's giving it away because she has too much. Like, she's not just making for herself, for her friends. She came over and, brought all these beautiful examples of her first jewelry collection to give away. And she's just such a generous person. But and then the Mal Moscato. I mean, oh my gosh, are we watching what's happening with the Mal Moscato? It's like it's all over. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the artists are making it from scratch themselves. I mean, there's so many torches in so many studios now. Uh, that's just mm, very humbling and gratifying at the same time. Spiral the shell in the sprocket. Yeah. Um, So I did not come up with that. Yeah, well, the article that I wrote a couple years ago, "How to Become a Mosaicist in 7 Simple Steps," I think was what I called it. Um, and one of the numbers, I forget what number it was play long games with something, something. Play long games. Maybe it was just play long games, but I think I want to kind of refine that a little bit and say play long games with the right people. So that's an important addition to just playing long games. And who are the right people? Like, what does that mean? I was thinking about that this morning. I think the right people are the right people for you. So I have lots of ideas about what the right people are for me. And I might say that they're people who I can sit in a studio with, and solve problems and make art with for days on end, and come out the other side and still like them. And they still like me. Those are right people, I would say. Um, I think right people are people who uh, don't bring an ego into a project or a problem solving situation. They want the person next to them to be successful. They want everyone to succeed and everyone to look good, and they make moves, accordingly. People who lift you up. That's another way to say it, I guess. So playing long games with the right people. Um, I could say that that's what's happening at the ruins for sure. But you can take that phrase into your own life. Marriage is certainly that, right? Long game, right person, definitely marriage, friendship, community, all that. Um, so hmm, I could take you down to the other side of the Wandering Wall. I'm not sure how many minutes we've been going, but um, this the glare. I pick 11 o'clock because it's the right time for a lot of people, but it's probably not the best time for the camera, because of the sun. So actually, I don't think I am going to take you down to the wrong side, or the ruined side of the Wandering Wall, because I don't think you'll be able to see anything. So maybe next time, we'll do a much cooler day, maybe even do an early morning or an evening, and that way we'll be able to to see without the glare. Um, does anyone have thoughts on icons on the legend that are not there yet that I missed? Because I think of everything because I've been thinking about this for a few weeks, but you know, um, I mean, I can't put every piece of art on there, obviously, but I was trying to get the big ideas. So we have the You Are Here, the clock, the Moss Project, the arrow, the hot metal wall, the ruins Ven, which is the coal miners and the artists, the compass rose, the fragments, which are yet to appear, the beehive, the stone with the story, the feather project, the patch house, the portals, the boot, and the icon of the train or the logo of the train, which will be coming soon. I just thought I might just bring you over here. Look at this too. I don't know if I mean a lot of you have seen this, but you may not have noticed the little fragments that we have kind of installed in here over the years. I love these. I just absolutely adore them. Maps. Yeah, the maps are the compass rose represents the maps. Yeah. And there was one before that I missed it. If you want to put it in the chat again, I can see it. But look at this little baby right here. Isn't that adorable? I just love that. Okay. Mhm. The water mosaics of the countries. Yeah, I consider that the maps. So I think the compass rose is for that subject. That's what I so in some ways when you enter into the ruins now, you're going to see the legend, right? And the tour guide will give you a little bit of an idea of what all those icons mean. And then at the end of the tour, you come back and see it again. And then after your brain is full and you've seen everything, and then you see the symbols at the very end. And that kind of is like a little bit of a ringing bell to help you remember everything that you've just seen. So that's kind of, it just happened to be at the beginning and the end, which I love. Ah, the creator's artist. Yeah, the Ven is kind of that, I think, you know, the artists and the coal miners coming together in this place. The other animals, yeah, that's that's a possibility. Standing, that's a possibility. As time goes on, there is a few feet down below that we could, if if more serious animals start to come, which they may. Footprints, yeah, I love the idea of footprints. That's a great idea to just do one footprint for future animals that aren't birds. Yeah, because um, I do think the ruins is going to have a black bear someday. I think it's going to have a full size white-tailed deer, possibly. Angels. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Um, the boots. I thought about the baby boot. I thought about putting the word the chapel next to the boot instead of another man's boots because that takes you into the chapel room, which is a very important, you know, ending for the story with the heaviness of the sacrifice and the people who died here. You know, there's a lot to think about. Um, was thinking, oh, I know what's important. Maybe somebody mentioned this, but the portraits. Uh, and this might be something I would be open to a lot of suggestions from you guys. But um, can you imagine making a tiny little icon portrait? Uh, the reason it's not there is because I can't do that. You know, I can't make a portrait this big, a little face that big. Do we know anybody who could do that justice? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the train. Yeah, there's going to be a logo for the train that's coming, but a little tiny, tiny micro mosaic portrait. If anybody feels like they could do something like that justice, I'd be open to a conversation. Um, Luca Barberini. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I would love that. Who can make that happen? Is Tammy here? Is Tammy listening? That's a great idea. He makes a person in 5 pieces of Smalty. Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. And you know what? Erica mentioned the eye. Thank you, Tammy, for saying yes to that. Erica mentioned the eye, but I think if you're gonna do it, you might as well go for the portrait, really. Instead of only doing the eye feels like you're doing it because you can't do a portrait. Does that make sense? So I think I'd rather wait. I'm just gonna leave the portrait open until maybe the right person comes along and offers to make a tiny little face for us, because that's such an important, um, part of the ruins. The portraits are so important. I wouldn't wanna half-ass it? Yeah. Um The outliers are we are going I think we're gonna make a tiny little nest to represent the outliers, which are gonna be the sculptural pieces that are around the ruins, which there may be more in the future. Um, I think that almost sums it up for the symbols, although, there is room for more ideas, which, we do know that more ideas will come, right? We all know that. They will come. Yeah. Well, um maybe that's a problem for all of us to just muse over, although I do really love the Luca Barberini angle. Um, that would be quite a feat to get his signature in here, I would say. Yeah. I'll have to talk to Tammy about that later. Oh, anything else, guys, before I sign off? And what- don't you just love the portal back here? Oh, I can't get it. I can't get the backwards thing. You can see Scotland behind my head. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of sitting back here, and really just being quiet and looking, which, if you've been reading my words lately, I've been talking a lot about that because I'm always going like this. Here, let me see if I can do it like this. My grandmother used to do this all the time, but she did with both hands, which I can't do right now. So she would go like this. It means thinking too much, having too many thoughts in your head. And I've been doing that for so long over here that I don't give myself time to just sit and enjoy the ruins as it is right now, at the different times of the day, different times of the year, and where it is for the art right now. So I'm practicing. That's my new practice. That's my long game. So I think I'm gonna sign off now unless anybody has any other specific questions. Thank you for coming and spending time. I love you guys. Love you all. I hope there aren't too many bees. You mean real bees? We're doing okay with the bees. Robert keeps up on them. We need more mosaic bees, but we can never have enough of them, I don't think. Yeah, thank you guys. Really, thank you. Great summer for the ruins. It really is. It's just really feels like a 10-year anniversary. Yep. All right. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.